Greetings everyone, it's T2. Today I have a couple of books for you for the T2 Book Club. City of Ghosts by V.E.Schwab, V.E.Schwab, whatever. This one, pretty short, like 280 something pages, 290, something like that. It's a small book, so it's not even like huge pages. I guess you would call this middle grade, like for like below young adult, like high school maybe, or middle school. But it's pretty good. I gave it 5 stars. I was kind of surprised. The first book I've read by V.E.Schwab, so I've got some other ones like Darker Shade of Magic that I want to get into. Both of these are ghost stories. The other one is called Invisible Ghost by Robyn Schneider. Both of them are about girls that can see ghosts. This one's more of a romance story with a ghost in it. This one's more just a ghost story, but she has a friend that's a ghost, that's a boy. But there's no romance in it because she has a cat like on the cover, but the cat's not really important. Her parents are like paranormal investigators, kind of like they have a TV show they're doing. So they're taken to Edinburgh, Scotland, and it's supposed to be full of ghosts. And she meets this other girl there that can also see ghosts, and that girl has like this little mirror pendant, and she realizes that she can exorcise ghosts and like send them on, kind of like, get rid of them. And you can kind of trap them with mirrors because they start staring at themselves and they see what they were like in a past life, or like they see the dead version of themselves or something, like entrances them. They get stuck looking at it. I thought there was something else like in ghost lore that's kind of similar to that. Like there's some kind of a maze or something you can trap ghosts in. I don't know where I heard about that from. Was it Ghostbusters? No, I don't know. Anyway, she doesn't want to exercise her friend Jacob that's a ghost because he's just like helping her out. He's not like... They kind of hint that he may turn evil eventually, like become a poltergeist maybe. Which is kind of what happens in this other book too. She kind of gets pulled into this realm called the Veil. So like each ghost has a zone kind of influence of where they died or where they were most drawn to. And there's other ghosts that have similar realms that can overlap. So you can have some areas that have both ghosts in them. It's kind of like a lot of world building for like such a small book. Kind of makes you like come up with some kind of crazy concepts. But yeah, it was pretty good. And she has like this camera. What happened was she had she fell into a lake and she almost died, and then the ghost saved her life somehow. So then she was supposed to have been dead, or she died and she came back, like in the hospital. So that gave her the ability to see ghosts. And she had her camera with her, so somehow this camera is kind of weird too. It can kind of take pictures of shadows in the ghost room. It can kind of sort of see ghosts. Anyway. As another book comes after this, I think she goes to Paris, France, and there's a third book. But this was a really good story. So then Invisible Ghosts, I just finished. Robyn Schneider, Jewish writer, I think, because the character's Jewish. I'm assuming she is too. This is more of like a high school romance. But both of these books, by the way, there's a lot of Harry Potter references. I guess you're reading books of people that are like the same age as these authors, so you're going to get a lot of Harry Potter references because that's just like Gen Millennials? I don't even know what generation it would be. They grew up with Harry Potter. They just like stick it into all of their writing. It's just full of references. Almost like you would think she would get in trouble for so many of them. But like, there's also some Doctor Who and some Star Trek references in here. Because her brother is the one that's a ghost. He died because he went to get her. She ran away, sort of. He went to get her, and he got stung by a bee. He didn't have his EpiPen with him, and he died from a bee sting. So he's always trying to get her to stay at home and watch like Star Trek and Doctor Who with him, and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and like watch TV because that's what they did when they were growing up. So he's kind of like pulling her away from her having a social life, and like she had all these like friends in high school that she doesn't have anymore, and she's like lonely, and then she kind of meets this guy that used to be her friend when they were little, and then they start having a relationship, and he gets her back with her old friends, and she starts having a life again, and like a lot of high school kind of like drama, but good. Maybe that's something I'm into. I don't know. This young adult stuff, I'm giving it high marks for some reason, so maybe I'll read more of it. So then, like, her brother is like kind of starting to turn into a poltergeist. He's starting to be able to like use the button on the remote, which he couldn't do before, and he's like throwing things around when he gets mad because she's spending more time with them, or she's studying for PSAT so she can get into a college, which is going to leave him alone by himself. He doesn't want that. And then she finds out her boyfriend, he can also see ghosts. And he's been exercising like a couple of ghosts. She didn't know you could do that. So then he suggested that maybe they could exercise her brother, and then they break up for a second. And then they get back together. And then it's just a pretty good story. They're also in drama club, so they're like studying to be, or they're practicing for a play. And it's just a lot of like slice of life stuff. She never really tells her parents that she can see ghosts, which is kind of weird. Neither does this girl. Both of them keep it a secret. They don't tell their friends either. But in the end, she has to like send her brother on and like exercise him with like this memory of Christmas or something. Pretty good ending. Got a little sad. So yeah. A lot of references. I gave this one like a 4.5, I think. Maybe it should be a 5. I don't know. I gave it an early rating before I read the whole thing. But, you know, it's Halloween. I wanted something that wasn't too scary, because I've been reading a lot of like horror for like a month and a half, and I'm kind of burnt out on horror. I kind of just want to wind it down, slowly ease into November, and I'm going to get back into like fantasy. I'm going to read The Pariah next, I think, by Anthony Ryan. And then I'm probably going to get into the Sun Eater trilogy, which is sci-fi fantasy. And then I want to read Warbreaker before the end of the year. And then we'll see how much time I have left, if I can finish off some of these other trilogies I started on there. Got a couple more authors that I haven't read that I want to try to read too. It's like it's kind of hard to choose now, because it's like I got authors that I know are good, like Robyn Hobb, or Sanderson, or Brian McClellan. I want to read him some more. I know I'm going to enjoy those books, but there's also authors I've never read, which I want to read to see if I want to buy more of their books. So it's kind of like you got to choose.